Okay, so this video now is covering the checks for passenger comfort and safety. So one of the questions you should be asked on Mod 4 is checking the vehicle interior for passenger comfort and safety. Okay, so as I've mentioned in other videos, I start with spiral motions to sort of make sure I'm looking up, around as I progress through the vehicle. So first of all, passenger comfort and safety, I'm checking there's no slips, no trips, hazards on the floor itself. Checking the handrails are secure. Glass is all in good condition. Legal signage is in place. Check the ramp. The ramp on this vehicle is operated by this bar. The way to safely do it is lock it into place. 3 points of contact, manual handling, 2 feet, one hand holding the handrail. If you're left-handed, right-handed, you can use the other side, that's fine. And then lowering the floor, ramp to the floor. Checking the condition of the ramp is good. There's no debris, no slips, no trips, no oil or liquids. Putting the ramp back in, it's absolutely fine because it's soft closing, but you don't need the hook to close it. Job done. Then remembering the circular motion, above my head there's nothing hanging down, there's no damage, it's all in good condition. Moving forwards, fire extinguisher is in the green. There's also a first aid kit located behind the glass, and there's one located over in the luggage compartment. Onto the vehicle, handrails, this is all things passengers are going to be grabbing. Above my head, that's not going to fall down, that's all secure. Getting into the cab, because it's just a question about passenger comfort and safety, I'm going to enter the cab and go through my checks, specifically on passenger comfort and safety only. So, starting the engine.
Fire system pressure okay.
Again, you should always be checking handbrake neutral. I'm looking for black smoke. And now I'm just going to work my way through the cab, passenger comfort and safety. So, closing the doors, lowering the floor, and it raises it back up again. Do I need to check indicators and all that? No, it's not passenger comfort and safety, so I can work my way across. Ferry lift, not relevant. So first thing I come to is the cab light and the interior lights. So, as I've said in other videos, it is 50% minimum lighting. That's all working fine, good. Moving down here, what have I got? I've got roof vents. That's certainly going to be passenger comfort. It's ventilation, opens the flaps on the top of the roof. This is for saloon ventilation as well. So if I push the switch forward, the red light comes on. You can't hear the fans, so you just assume that they are working. Put it back into the auto setting. Moving down along, demisters. Okay, demisters is more for the windscreen, however, it does benefit the passengers in those cold days, and that's working fine. And we've got various saloon heating controls here, which all seem to be working one way or another. Moving my way up, as I always scan, is there anything up here that's passenger comfort and safety related? There's nothing here, however my seating and standing capacity is relevant to passenger comfort and safety, so I need to make sure that that's present and I know what that is. Moving out of the side of the cab, so now I can switch the engine back off. So from this point, as I've said before, it's just a suggestion. Spiral motions, looking at the floor, all the way down through, I can see it's clear of slips, trips, there's no hazards, nothing rolling around, there's no fluids. Moving to the seats, so this first seat, check in for sharps. We never run our hands across because you can snag, but you just make sure there's no sharp materials, objects. Press down there, making sure it's secure. The trim's in good condition, there's no signs of soilage. Moving up, all this is secure. That's all Nothing hanging down that shouldn't be. Brings me back down to things like this fan. Fan's fitted, so I need to make sure that that's working. Pole, bell's working. Bell's not working currently.
Fire system pressure okay.
There it is.
So yeah, that's working. Coming to this seat. So this seat, a little bit more to it. It's two separate sections, so making sure that that is fully secure. Again, padding for sharps. Pressing down on the cushion a little bit. Never stick your fingers in there, but just make sure there's nothing in there that shouldn't be in there. Trim's in good condition. No signs of soilage. There is a seatbelt fitted to this one, so a thorough check on the seatbelt required. Click it into place. Give it a good tug to make sure it's secure on the anchor points, and it releases. Condition of the webbing all the way along, especially on the wear points, and there is a label fitted, making sure that that's there. Same on this one, especially around the wear points. The webbing is all in good condition. This seat has an adjustment on it to make sure that the seat adjusts for all the passengers' comfort. Moving further down through the vehicle, so again I'm constantly thinking, make sure I look up and around so I don't miss anything. Another bell, that one's working. Bin is secure, there's nothing in there that shouldn't be. Luggage rack, poles, all secure. Another bell, that one's working. All bells need to be checked. If one is not working, the bus can't go out. This one here is a slightly different one. Makes a different noise. That's for a wheelchair user, so they can easily access it. At this point, your examiner may say, would you check all bells and poles the same throughout the rest of the vehicle for this test? Your answer should be yes. Then they'll probably say no need to demonstrate them for the purpose of the test. Obviously, doing it out live, you would be making sure they're all working. Again, seats, these are different to the ones we've already checked. So again, checking for sharps. No loose trim, no signs of soilage. And this particular seat folds, so fold it down and just lean on it when you need. Make sure it takes a little bit of weight. Job done. Again, at this point, because you've checked all the different types of seats, your examiner may say, would you check the rest of the seats the same? Your answer should be yes. They may suggest that you don't need to check the rest of the seats for the purposes of the test, but you would for taking the bus out on the road. So I'm just going to concentrate on things we haven't talked about now. Windows, they need to open and close. We have these handles. Again, they need to be checked, making sure they take the weight and they're in good condition. I've already demonstrated how you would check the seats and all that. You've got various legal signage. Again, I'm still constantly looking at the floor, looking above, make sure there's nothing hanging down. See how easily I could have missed that? So by constantly thinking, look up, spiral motions should help you remember everything. Along here we've got various yellow trim, which is trip hazards. So it's making sure that that's all firmly seated, nothing sticking up, same as the poles, so on and so forth. To the fire exit, always make sure you sat down when operating the fire exit. Check your legal signage, make sure it opens. It must open at least 90 degrees in the event of the vehicle being on its side. Opening past 90 degrees should help the door stay open. I'm also listening for the buzzer from the cab. That should operate to make sure somebody in the cab knows the fire exit's been opened. Closes and is secure again. From this point, I'm looking, I've got the fire exit clearly displayed at the back. I've got emergency hammer clearly displayed and present. You may be questioned, is this the only glass that you would break in an emergency situation? If you think about it, emergency break glass hammer, you could use any window, you could break any window in any situation. Other than that, back here, you've already demonstrated how to check seats, but we have got various inspection plates, so making sure that they are seated correctly, they're not sticking up in any way. Other than that, at this point, that pretty much covers the passenger comfort and safety. video.